Welcome to Search for Mighty Max, the show where me and my brother search for, find, and talk about toys. We got the Christmas tree out. We got Spider-Man. We got Loki over here. We got Moana. We got Faith, Family, and Friends. I don't remember where I got that. We got Black Panther. We got Batman. We got our Christmas tree up. And I got my toy shelf up. I did do a little bit of readjusting here. So that top shelf is a little bit smaller. This one is a little bit wider. And then the widest shelf is going to be the Spider-Man one. But what really needs to go down is lights on and lights off. Happy holidays from Search for Mighty Max. Spider-Man. And we got Spider-Man near the top, but don't have a topper. Unlike my toy shelf, which is in this corner here, I do have a topper. Boom! But this shelf is so dark though. What do I do? Oh! So I got my lights installed up in here. Got my Ninja Turtle shelf sorted. Mighty Max. And Spider-Man, Toy Biz. Skybolt Toys. I can do red. I can do green. I can do blue. I can do all of them. I can do smooth. Smooth transitions. Smooth. And I got my Hyrule light coming out of that lamp thing. Awesome. These lights are cool. I can just sit here and watch these. But we got other stuff to do. So, P1 push start. Ooh, what's that? Legend of Zelda. Look at all this cool shit. So I got all my video game stuff out so I can go through it and try to plan the next episode parts and make an episode part about making an episode part because I have too much video game stuff and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So that's what we're doing today. Welcome to Search for Mighty Max. This is the show where me and my brother search for, find, and talk about toys. This episode is P1 Push Start. So that means that me and my brother search for, find, and talk about video games. I got all my video game stuff out that I could possibly find around the house. And I put them all here so I can go through them. Because I'd like to do some episode parts on video game stuff, but kind of different than the other episodes that we've done. I was acquiring action figures. I was acquiring, Mighty Max and Mini Mutants and different things. And then I was like, hey, look at this thing I got that it's added to my collection. But for video games, I've already had these for a while. So I already went through like a kind of a collector's conundrum in 2010. I was experiencing a lot of stressful things in life, coming back from outside the country, as well as a divorce. It is what it is. And I ended up, as a way of kind of coping and getting through some of that stuff, I was purchasing some retro video games. If I remember correctly, and I don't have a sheet for it, I swear I made one. I actually bought and sold, and I kept everything that was kind of like that I liked, and I think I also turned a profit. So I think I kept everything that I wanted, but I also sold enough stuff, so I actually made a little bit of money back, as well as keeping the stuff I want. So I think that was a pretty good hobby, because now I have a couple boxes of things that I can go through, and I'm hoping to find like some more. Oh my god. Apparently this shit is dusty. So I guess that's the first thing I gotta do, is do some dusting. I can clearly see some dust on these things. And this is why you keep your electronics in plastic bins, because holy shit, all this stuff gets so freaking dusty. Anyhow, freaking sneeze totally threw me off what I was about to say. I got man, I gotta not treat this like an episode. This is supposed to be a behind the scenes type of episode that shows kind of the way I think and the way that I kind of organize, episode or an episode part that I'm trying to film, try to get done. I just got this new microphone, which is cool. Just put it right here on my lapel, so you can hear me better. Trying to up my game on the production side of things. So try that out with this part. Yeah, I gotta not treat this like an episode, even though it is an episode. But this is all my stuff, and I gotta get through it, so I can do some more filming. So give me 1 second. I gotta blow my nose. What's fun about the microphone is I can walk around the house, and you can still hear me. It's pretty funny. You can hear all the noises that I'm making. So I can already tell you that this will give me some different kind of production issues. Like, shut the fuck up, Gary. Get to the point. Stop making noises and sneezing and doing this shit. You can hear me perfectly. Now you can hear me too perfectly. Great. Okay, well, let me start by making some space here. Let's see. This was the first box that I had. I feel like I've always had this blue box, and I just always had stuff in it. And then recently, I had just like some miscellaneous, some Michelin stuff all over the place, and I was like, I gotta throw that in a box. So I put those in here, and then I had some video games in an uncovered plastic bin, and I was like, that's no good. So I got this smaller one so I can throw my games in there. And then on this side, I have some kind of related action figures and stuff. And as I'm looking at some of these, I realized that I forgot something. But that's okay, we'll get it later. You can hear me as I walk through the house again. Ugh. Is this camera still filming? I never trust this camera. I'm sure it'll beep, and then I'll miss it, and then I won't have any back shot of the table. But we'll deal with it as it comes along. All right, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go through some of these figures real quick, so I can get them out of the way. My plan here is I got Nintendo stuff, I got PlayStation stuff, and then I got like, franchise games for those things, and then kind of like some indie games, like kind of here and there, or like rando games, right? So what I was thinking was I gotta put, so this is panty and stocking from some crazy anime that I found. And I actually, because I spent some time in Japan, and that was what I was alluding to earlier, was I was coming back from the country. I had come back from Japan, and I never bought anything like crazy or like these girly girls or whatever the fuck these are. And when like a couple years after that, or a couple years ago, I don't really remember, I was like, man, I never bought anything like real crazy to bring back. So I found this figure, Panty. I was like, what is going on there? Some kind of angel girl, some kind of larger action figure. Like the anime action figures are nutso. So I bought this one. I swear I bought it for like 30, 40, 50 bucks maybe. And then me and my girlfriend were at a toy fair, and I look up and I see this thing and it's listed for 300 bucks. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, are you kidding me? And I found this guy on eBay that does like plastic cases for stuff. So this was like one of the first ones that I asked him to make for me, like as a custom. I was like, hey, I got this thing. Can you like make me a case for it? So this is actually in a plastic case, all safe and protected. I ordered one for this one. This is stocking. This is the other girl character in that show. This one's made by Alter, and then this one's made by Sega. And then the company that is licensing it or makes the show is Gainax. Oh my god, so much dust. Fuck. So I asked the guy to make this one too. He sent me one, but I fucked up on the measurements. I did it an inch too short on the width. So he's going to send me a new one, so I'll be able to throw that in there. So I was going to throw this stuff with like, I don't know, my PlayStation stuff. Because the PlayStation stuff feels more Japanesey to me than like the Nintendo stuff, even though I know they're both from Japan. But that shit just feels more Japanesey to me and more anime-like and more, I don't know, adult, I guess. And these action figures are definitely more adult. So let me just put all that shit together. I do have a couple amiibo. I just got this one. It's Link from Twilight Princess, which is my favorite Zelda game. So I was like, dude, I gotta get the amiibo for Twilight Princess. And I definitely got to get Link. So got that. I already had bought like some cases for the amiibo, so I threw them in there. These are the Microland boxes. I got both the deluxe ones. These ones are also in plastic cases to keep them safe. And man, it's good plastic. Like they're not super cheap, but they feel good. And yeah, I am a little concerned that I'm gonna throw everything in a protected box when it really doesn't need one. So I'm really trying to do like it's collectible. It's something that's expensive or something that is nostalgic for me. So I just want to like keep it safe because I'm like, I like that action figure, I like that toy, or I like that thing or whatever. So let's make sure to keep it safe. So let's see if I can actually put all this shit on the table from all these boxes. Like I said, I'll be talking to you this way. I'm looking at this stuff, so hopefully you can see it from this camera, how cool it looks. All right, this is actually pretty dope, but this is Clue. Zelda Clue. I do have the original Clue game. I just don't have it here. I have it in my storage. But I fucking love this game. And they had a Zelda game, and I was like, what? That's freaking awesome. So got that here, got it in a protective case, which is good because if I didn't, this shit would just fall and spill all over the table. You hear that fucking beep? Fuck you, camera. It's like the shit I gotta listen to. Make sure it's recording. God, it's so fucking annoying. I mean, it keeps me on beat, I guess, because I'm like, every time I do that, I have to like refocus. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I got 20-minute increments. I have to refocus every 20 minutes to what I'm doing. All right, so Clue goes with Zelda stuff. Microland. My girlfriend's sister actually got me this cool little controller. It's a Switch controller, and it's a Zelda one. I can't really tell what game it's from. It almost looks like Skyward Sword, but can't really tell. Maybe generic. Yeah, but with these protective cases, I can like stack everything now too, which is nice. Well, that took me like 30 minutes to just go through the stuff that was just laying around. Great. Man, this cough is driving me crazy too. Just more footage, right? More footage, more footage. All right, I'm just gonna kind of... Well, first off, dude, I need to get some systems out. This is my PS1 stuff. Controllers and all that. GameCube controllers. Super Nintendo. Game Boy. The actual cube. So my thoughts is I wanted to do a Nintendo, like I said, Nintendo episode, PlayStation episode, major franchise. You'll see some of the spin-offs and other random thing I might have, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. But every time I do these things, what I'm thinking doesn't really turn out to be what I actually end up doing. So I take notes and I try to like, I need this and I need this and I need this. I ordered that, it's coming in. I got to wait for this one more thing. And now I can do the episode. Sometimes I find more stuff and I'm like, oh, I should wait for that thing to come in. But then I have everything all together. Sometimes I think something will take longer. I'm like, oh, that'll take me like an hour. It'll be a perfect episode. It takes me 10 minutes. I'm like, dang it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, that'll just take me 10 minutes. I'll add it to the end or I'll do a clip or whatever. It ends up to be like a whole part. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So for the part, I don't actually need the controllers and stuff out unless I want to be real cool, which I might do, or I might not. From the perspective of the viewer, Super Nintendo, GameCube, and yep, my Super Nintendo has a golden butt and a gray top. That's just the cleanest one I found at the time. I actually found one that was all gray, but it was like kind of janky looking, and I was like, I want to play games, not here to fuck around and just have stuff sitting on the shelf. I'm here to actually play these games. So games that I kept, systems that I kept. I just wanted ones that were working and were reliable. Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. I don't actually have a Nintendo here, but these were really clean titles, really shiny, looking really good. And I was like, I gotta have a copy of those. I ended up playing Zelda 2 finally, not too long ago, a year or two ago. Finally beat Zelda 2. I got to the second to last boss, so not Dark Link, but whatever that thing is before Dark Link. And I just couldn't beat that guy. And I was like, dude, I freaking suck at this game. What the hell? So I ended up playing it on the emulator. And I kind of knew where everything was. And it was like way easier because I could use save states and stuff. And I had to save state my way through that second to last boss so I can get to Dark Link. I'm like, what the hell? Like, people always told me that Dark Link was hard. And I was like, I can't even get through this other boss. So I'm still checking off the Zelda games I'm playing. I haven't played them all yet. Super Game Boy, classic. Our family had that at our grandma's house, so we could play the Game Boy games on the Super Nintendo, which she also had, plus an Atari. I bet you we were all Inception by our grandma. Maybe this episode should be called Grandma's Inception. Sega Genesis games, Sonic 1 and 2. I don't actually have a Sega. So that's kind of like in between. And that's what I'm talking about, like those kind of once-off games or indie games or things that I'm like, they don't really fit in one of these worlds. And Sega is that for me. Never really got into Sega. Never really played Sega. Except at our cousin's house out in Madeira. Check out this shit. Boom! Breath of the Wild. Special edition. I got a case for this one too. This one's more sentimental for me because my bro got it for me, along with an entire Switch. Just like blew my mind because I had never played any new games. And I'm so glad that he did that for this one because, man, this is like going down in history as like an amazing game and changing the frontier of gaming. Maybe, you know, computer games and everything were as expansive as this already. But, you know, for the casual gamer, like myself, I don't play any of those real crazy games on the PC. This was amazing for me. I freaking love this game. So the box is a little jacked up. I hope my bro got a good deal for it. But it's got all the stuff inside there. And, you know, it's got the game so I can play it. And it looks really good. This picture looks perfect on the front. So I just wanted to make sure that the front was safe. So shit, where do I put this now? This is what I was worried about. I was like, I need to set everything up. And I'm probably going to have to do 2 episode parts because it's all not going to fit on the table nicely. But I was hoping for today I can at least just fit everything on the table. So that way I can say, that's for an episode part, that's for another episode part. So we're trying to split the sea here. Gaming Moses. I kind of figured too, because with the boxes and stuff, you think, well, I mean, from my perspective, you think you have like a lot of shit, and then you take it out of the boxes, and you're like, no, I don't. What's going on here? I thought I had a lot of stuff, but then when I take it out of the boxes, it's not that much. I feel like that's what the action figures do, especially if they're boxed versions. You put a bunch of boxes in a box. When you pull it out, it's like 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all that can fit in there. Which is definitely why I like loose figures more. I'm like, put the boxes out, display. That's why I really like these protectors too, because they not only keep the thing safe, but it helps me like be able to dust, which I definitely need to do because I keep rubbing my nose and I can feel all this dust around me and I just want to die. Who would have thought some of the stuff I left out would try to kill me? All right, check out this thing. I got a Twilight Princess scroll that I used to have hung up for like the longest time. Maybe I need to hang it up over there. Actually, be pretty dope if I did. I need to hang that over by my astronaut and my Ninja Turtle. That's what I'm looking forward to, like having, because I'm in a shared house right now, so I can't like take up all the walls and all the space. But I'm looking forward to having, hopefully, my own house. But I live in California, so who knows if that'll ever happen. I live in California in 2024, and 2023 was a freaking bust. So hopefully the next years will be better. I don't know. I'll just keep saving and playing video games, waiting for that opportunity. Because really, I don't even want a house. I just want a place where I can set up my gaming stuff. All right, here's my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild lunch pail. What's in there, Gary? What kind of cool shit you got in there? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because I got some Super Nintendo games up in here. Obviously, I got Link to the Past. You motherfucker. "10, 20-minute increments of refocus." And I always got to repeat the last thing I said, which was, so we got the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past. I actually have a couple of homebrews or hacked games, whatever you want to call them. The Goddess of Wisdom and Parallel Worlds. These were amazing games. One of them was like harder, but like shorter, and the other one was like really long and like difficult because you had to find a bunch of stuff. I don't remember which one was which, but one of them also was like harder dungeons, and the other one was like harder overworld. But super fun. I'm glad that there's some creative people out there making some, you know, hacks and different stuff so we can continue playing these games and enjoying them, because I had a great time playing those games. Super Mario World. Pirates of Dark Water. I freaking love this game. It's so good. It's such a good game. Oh, and I can't make too many comments on this. This is supposed to be behind the scenes. What the fuck? I'm trying to just figure out what I'm trying to do here. But I'm still going to look at all these games. Mortal Kombat 2, awesome. Power Rangers, the Fighting Edition. That's like a fighting game. You play with the Zords. Space Invaders, classic callback. I got A Link to the Past booklet and a map. Brother gave me those. Thanks, bro. Final Fantasy 6 or 3 if you're in America. That game fetches a pretty penny, so that's why it's up in bubble wrap. And then I have a screwdriver set because Nintendo cartridges and stuff have weird screws. So you got to have a special star screw or whatever it's called to open those up. All right, put that shit back in there. I need more Zelda space. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Because I'm all about Zelda. There we go. That feels right. It's next to the other Super Nintendo stuff. Man, what a freaking mess. I wanted to do a behind the scenes thing because I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to show like all this stuff because it's all kind of random. This is like my shield. I didn't want to actually buy a shield. I was like, I'll just buy a cloth thing of a shield and I can throw that on the wall. Hey, maybe someday I'll get a shield and a sword and I can throw that on the wall. It'd be pretty rad. Stuff is expensive though. Went to a toy fair and I saw somebody selling weapons. I was like, dude, hundreds of dollars for this? Are you serious? Who can afford that? Not me. Oh, shit. What have I done? There we go. Come on, guys. Alright, this is my Breath of the Wild amiibo. I got both the cards in there. I got Link and I got Zelda. Just kind of stacked against each other. I did open these. I was using them while I was playing the game, so no regrets. Got the Wolf Link amiibo. Hell yeah. Let's see, I'll grab these ones on the top. I got the, this is the Smash Brothers Zelda, but it's the one from Twilight Princess. And then this is the Skyward Sword Princess Zelda with her bird. They never did a Link one with his red bird, which is really lame, because I totally would have bought it. But this is really, like, it looks good. I know a lot of people are like, man, Skyward Sword, but it's still a fun game. It's still a Zelda game. And it's built on a lot of the lore, and I really appreciate, like, the story building for certain things. So, and the character development was really good too. So maybe the gameplay was a little whack, and this was like super weird to do this. But in the HD remaster, whatever, for the Switch, you can just play normal, which I feel like made it a lot better for me. I was like, I didn't really like doing this either. This is, who cares? Freaking video games trying to get us to exercise. No, thank you. So yeah, I really enjoyed that game, and that amiibo is super cool. This does have some tape on it, but it's pretty cool, so I guess I should show you. Three pieces of tape. Come on. I suck. Arg. It's a Final Fantasy thing. It's Tifa. So that's why I'm like, I want to open it and show it, because I have a lot of Zelda stuff. Don't really have nails, so it's hard for me to get the tape. And like my brother says, tape is my weakness, which is so true. Oh my gosh. Tifa! I need to put this like in something. This fabric feels weird. So there's Tifa, looking all cool, looking all hot, because that is like one of my favorite characters of all time. Cloud, not so much. I think Tifa is super badass to me. And I played, actually, let me get the games out, and then I'll tell you what I played. Shit, man, this might even end up not being a behind-the-scenes episode. This might actually just be the episode, because I don't know if I want to redo all this stuff again. Fuck! But yeah, I gotta get something to put this Tifa thing in. Like I said earlier, I don't have a lot of wall space, though. I bet you my housemates probably wouldn't care, though. But I'm just trying to be respectful. I don't want to put my crap everywhere. Just because I'm a collector and they're not. Alright. Tifa from Final Fantasy. Two more amiibo here. From Tears of the Kingdom, I got Link and I got Zelda. This goes with this, and these go right here. This looks sketchy. Maybe not do that. You serious? Okay. Switch stuff, Switch controller, Switch Pro. This is Switch accessories and a Zelda face mask to remind us of the pandemic. That was so much fun that we all participated in. So glad that that was optional. These are just super cool headphones. I'll show these, why not? These are bone conducting headphones. So you just put these on your ears and you can still hear everything. And I didn't really know where to put those, so I was like, yeah, I'll put those in my video game box. Sure. This is my Switch. This is a modded Switch. So this is the one I play on all the time. I freaking love the Switch. Because I don't know, I guess I'm more of like a handheld gamer. I do like playing on the TV sometimes. Some of the more cinematic stuff. Breath of the Wild looks amazing on it. But for the most part, I play a lot of these games just handheld. I don't know. Maybe I just move around too much, or I don't know what my deal is. This is a modded Switch that's in here. Always fun. Here's one more Zelda Super Nintendo homebrew hacked game. This is Secrets of the Past. I just played the first level like over the weekend, last weekend. Super fun. It starts off talking about like Link's dad, and I was like, what? Link's parents? We like never hear from them. Except they are briefly mentioned in this graphic novel. So I'm really curious to see what that game does, because I think they're like dead or something. They like appear as spirits. Yeah, I freaking love this comic book. It's so good. And like I mentioned before, I just like expansions on the lore, the story, the background. And not just for no reason. Like, please write it well and make it interesting and not stupid. But yeah, this comic book for Link to the Past is really good. And this game seems to be expanding on that with something with his dad being evil or something. So we'll see. I'm excited. PlayStation 2, my friend. So many goddamn wires. This is all the stuff for the hacked Switch. All right, I had a Super Nintendo controller out. This is the stuff, some connectors to help with streaming. I haven't done that at all, but I'd like to try to do that at some point. It's just kind of scary to me and time consuming. And it's hard to relax, honestly. It's hard to sit and just be like, I'm just going to play this game and have people view me do that. And I'm like, that's different. This is part of the hacked one. So the hacked Switch is actually my brother Kevin's. He was trying to have me play a hacked version of Breath of the Wild, Second Wind, which redid the shrines to make them more difficult, more interesting, and they were. I was playing it and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But man, I just like needed a break. I was like, I can't play Breath of the Wild anymore. The game is so long. Why? Like, I can't play a longer version of it now. And then Tears of the Kingdom, I knew it was going to come out eventually. It did take a minute for it to come out, but you know, it came out and I played that and I was like, all right, that was pretty fun. But I definitely prefer Breath of the Wild over Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know why. Maybe the simplicity of it. I was like, I don't have to go up or down. I'm just trying to go out. And maybe because it was new map. I don't know. I feel like I could do a whole episode on that. Check this out. I ended up getting a boxed copy of Link to the Past, but it's the Japanese one, which is perfect because I feel like the imagery, the art on it was like way cooler on the box and on the cartridge too. So they had the sword on it. Here's the cartridge. It's got the sword on it as well. I was like, that looks way cooler than the cartridge of the Super Nintendo one. Of course, the Super Nintendo one is nostalgic, but this one's just cooler. So I've got my eye on some more Japanese boxed versions because they're honestly, like, they're not cheap, but they're not expensive. Like, everybody's trying to get Link to the Past right now. Everybody's trying to get a copy of Chrono Trigger. Like, get off my nuts. Leave me alone. All right, we're getting through it. This is what I mean, though. I'm so disorganized. It's not like I'm pulling out stuff and I'm like, this is not in like groups. I want to go through all the Zelda stuff, all this stuff. Because look, here's another Zelda game. This one is Ancient Stone Tablets, and it's got a box. And I haven't actually played this cartridge. I did make sure that it worked, but I haven't actually played through this cartridge. But I did play this game. Here is Final Fantasy VI. So this is a actual like a better translation of Final Fantasy III for America, 6 for Japan. It comes in a white cartridge, really cool, and a box. So this was a reproduction. They reproduced it. It looks really good. It plays even better. I was like, this translation makes way more sense. So it's like not censored and all that stuff that America always does and ruins literally everything. So yeah, I played through this game. There was more of a story through like Figaro. You know these words? You say these characters' names out loud, you're like, wait a minute, is that how I'm supposed to pronounce it? Because that's how I always said it in my head. Like Edgar and these other characters, and the brothers, right? Sabine. The point I'm trying to make is they did a better translation, and I understood more of the stories, even though I don't know the characters' names off the top of my head right now. Final Fantasy VI. I'm just trying to empty this box out so I can like move on. I don't have a copy of the game Link Between Worlds, but it's on the special edition 3DS, which is so fucking awesome. And goes back to like, I like the Switch and I like 3DS and I like playing Game Boy. I just like playing the portable game devices. So sue me. They're so much fun and I can just walk around and do whatever I want. I don't even know what to do with all this shit. It's starting to pile up. All right, here's my Switch games. I got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. I just played last year, I guess technically now because we're in 2024. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. Sweet. So that's the prequel to Final Fantasy VII. Talks more about Zack and his whole journey, and the relationship between him and Aerith, which I didn't really know about. So that was really interesting. Then I got this twin pack of 7 and 8. Haven't actually replayed these yet. Because 8 I never actually played, so I can't replay it. But 7 I haven't replayed on this. Way back when, I mentioned earlier, I went to Japan. I was supposed to go back again, and I was playing Final Fantasy VII as a way to kind of prepare myself to go back to Japan again. And I never ended up going. I was supposed to go teach English through the JET program. I bailed out last minute because of a myriad of reasons, including the girl, of course. But I ended up not going, and I ended up not finishing that Final Fantasy VII game. And I'm like, damn it, I need to finish playing that game. And I can't remember where I was, and it always sucks like trying to restart a game when you're like, you don't even remember like how I got to this point. So it's like, just replay it and play it on the Switch. And then I can do mobile. I can go play it wherever I want. Metroid Dread box with Super Mario Party. Thanks to my other brother sending me some random stuff that he had. Death's Door, amazing game about a raven. Ori, I don't really know what that creature is, but there are 2 games in this, and that game is super fun. Streets of Rage, hell yeah. Two-person game where you can go and fight left to right. You're going and doing the beat 'em up, and it's freaking awesome fun. Those are all kind of indie games to me. And the not so indie games, we got Link's Awakening. I literally got sick and I beat this over a weekend. I was like, I know this game's gonna be short and I know it's expensive, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I played that game way too fast. I was like, fuck! Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. This is the way to play it. There you go. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. This is supposed to be a prequel to the Breath of the Wild, and I found this game to be so much fun. Definitely a different style. I didn't even know what kind of style this game is. And it was super fun because you're just like learning all these different moves and leveling up and kicking ass and beating all these people up. And you can play as Zelda, finally, in a Zelda game, as well as literally all these other characters. You can play as the king. You can play as a ninja dude. Dude, this game's awesome. And then Tears of the Kingdom, of course, sequel to Breath of the Wild. Super fun. All right, some other stuff here. This is my Pocket Monsters, Pocketto Monster. So this is my, from Pikachu Records, this is the soundtrack from the Game Boy game, from Pokemon Red and Blue. And that needs to go with the Game Boy stuff. All right, 3DS, Pokemon Sun, super fun. My return to the Pokemon world and playing those games, because I only played a couple of them. Go back to part something of Kevin's Inception. I talk about the games I played. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I have these both for the 3DS. I don't actually have an N64, and I don't have any N64 games. I went PlayStation when everybody else went N64. So that's what I played, and I never actually played those games back then, but I did play them later, and they're amazing games. So if you played it as a child, that's dope. I didn't get that opportunity. I played some other games which are super fun. No regrets. And I got to play it anyway on a 3DS. And I also got this, Adventure Time. I really like Adventure Time, and they had a game, and I purchased it. I know there's a couple other ones out there, but I haven't had a chance to play through those yet. Nintendo Switch box, trying to keep it nice, so if I need to put it back in there, I can. Oh my god, there's so much stuff everywhere. PS2. Dude, the close-up shot of this stuff is going to look so dope at the end of this. I hope this camera is doing a decent job of capturing everything instead of just turning off. God, that shit's annoying. All right, let's see. So here's some maps I just printed out of Final Fantasy 3. World of Balance, World of Ruin, because I was like, where is everything? I don't know how to find stuff. So I just printed these out to help me when I was playing through that translated copy. This is my Legend of Zelda checklist. These are the ones that I own and the ones that I've played. Do I have everything out though? Not quite. Do I have all the Zelda games out at least? I don't remember. Let me go through that list after I have everything out. Man, how are people supposed to keep up with so many different franchises and games and products and this and that? Like, I always try to remind myself, like, go back to the source material. Was it a comic book first? Was it a book first? Was it a video game first? What's the actual source material? Because there's so much shit out there now that's just like, do you remember Zelda? You want to buy this? I'm like, no, I don't want to buy that. What the hell? That's not the source material. That's not the thing. That doesn't add to what the thing actually is. If Zelda is a video game series, I want to see another video game element that I can play. That's part of that franchise. I think very seldomly with some of this stuff, and they're out there. Like it's seldomly, but there's a lot of stuff out there, right? Like this comic book is amazing, not source material, because that's not where it came from. The video game was there, and then they made a comic book, and the comic book supplements very well the source material. So source material and supplements, I guess, are the two words. If it doesn't do that, then why like buy it, and why even entertain it, you know? It's not entertaining, don't entertain it. Doesn't add value, then fuck off. Is my rant apparently on all this retro shit and nostalgia stuff. I'm just tired of seeing stuff through like all these advertisements and this and that, because my phone can hear me, right? It's literally recording this stuff right now. It can hear me talk about this stuff. It's like, oh, you like Zelda? You want to buy this? You want to buy a t-shirt? You want to buy a sweatshirt for it? I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to do those things. I just want to play a Zelda game, okay? If you can't do that, then I'm going to go out into the world and I'll find a hacked version that another fan like me worked really hard to create, so that way I can participate in the franchise and enjoying the franchise how it was meant to be enjoyed. Anyhow, got a couple PS3 games here. I had borrowed a PS3 from my brother to play these games because I had heard about Injustice, and I was like, I want to play as like Superman and kick some ass, but really I want to play some Spider-Man games. I like Spider-Man, and I heard these games were really good. So this is Edge of Time and Shattered Dimensions. Ever since those Spider-Man movies came out last year, Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, these games freaking blew up, and that's fair because they're really fun. But I had bought a copy beforehand, so haha. So that's PS3. I have to start stacking stuff here. Haven't actually replayed these since I got them, but Enter the Matrix and The Path of Neo, these are PS2 games. These are super fun. Path of Neo kind of does like an alternate version of way things played out, but you get to play as a character, so it's super fun. And then I got Devil May Cry 1 and 3, because fuck Devil May Cry 2. That's just, that game looks so whack. Haven't played it, but oh my god, it looks whack. And last thing here is I got Final Fantasy X for the PS2. I haven't actually played this game, but I do like playing the Final Fantasy games. I just kind of got stuck and I never got past, I was like, okay, I can play, I played 6, aka 3, and I was like, I can play 7, and then I have a copy of 8, have a copy of 9, and I have a copy of 10, but I never actually sat down and played it. Final Fantasy VII Strategy Guide. This is the only way that I could have got through that game when we played it. Oh my god, I was always looking at this. I found another copy of it, a decent copy, because I don't know where ours went when we were growing up, but that was the only way I could get through it. And then I didn't need this for Twilight Princess for the GameCube, but man, this was like a good copy. I got a good deal on it. I was like, all right, I do want that. That's actually really cool. So the comic book, another hack game. We are getting there. We are getting there. Alright, I just mentioned it. It's Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation. I'm missing the back image, which sucks, but I do got the manual in there. Yep. Final Fantasy VIII, got the back. Final Fantasy IX, got the back. And these should have both the booklets, otherwise I'm pissed. Okay, this one doesn't. Is it supposed to? How about this one? This one's got one. Well, I guess 8 doesn't have the booklet. Boo! That's okay. Final Fantasy VIII looks dumb. I really want to play this one because the little mage and everything that's in there looks interesting. Return to form, I guess. They were doing like the cyberpunk thing, and then they went back to like fantasy because that's how like that game franchise started. Once again, back to the roots, right? What the hell are we doing? What's going on? What type of game is this? All right, then GameCube. GameCube is super fun. This was actually the first way I played the Ocarina of Time. I played it through the collector's edition of Zelda. I am absolutely running out of space. I have to stack up stuff and then get reorganized. Twilight Princess, classic, forever. Wind Waker, still fun, absolutely fun. It definitely looked kiddie to me, and I was like, what's going on with that game? And I finally played it, and I was like, still a Zelda game. Thank you guys. So much fun. Four Swords Adventures, kind of interesting game when you're not playing multiplayer. Soul Calibur 2, my favorite Zelda game, because Link's right there as a fighter. Exclusive to the GameCube version of it. Mario Kart Double Dash, probably my favorite Mario Kart game. Super Nintendo one gave it a run for its money, but this one's probably my favorite because you can switch out the characters and get more stuff, and I don't know, it's just super fun to me. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door. Haven't actually played this. Stole this from my younger brother. I said, "What are you gonna throw that out, or you're not gonna play that, or what's going on here?" I was like, "Let me snatch that up." Pretty sure yeah, this came from my brother too. Final Fantasy X. I also yoinked that from him too. Mega Man X Collection. I think I prefer playing these games on the Super Nintendo, but the fact that they were all on there, I was like, that's pretty cool. So I think I played like 5 or 6 or something through this. X through X6. Yeah. So it did give me access to play some more games. So these collector things, these collector's editions are cool because you can get more games. And then we got True Crime, Streets of LA, and then Beyond Good and Evil. 2 like rando games that I just really like. True Crime I played when I was younger, so it's a little nostalgic for me. Beyond Good and Evil, I didn't find out until way later. I was like, what is that? Like, you play like someone who takes pictures as a photographer and does this and that. I never actually beat it. I started getting kind of dizzy at one point, and it was just because of a bunch of crouching and doing this and that, and then I got caught up in life and doing whatever, so I never actually beat it. So I got to go back and beat this one at some point. Stacks of games everywhere. I'm tired now. Yeah, I got like one more random thing in here. I found somebody selling some maps, so I bought them, and then I went to, I'm gonna call it Kinko's, even though it wasn't Kinko's, because Kinko's was the shit back then. So I found these maps, and I bought them, and then I went to Kinko's, and I put them in laminate, and oh my god, they're so cool. Like, are these my placemats, or I don't even care. I just want to use them for something. It doesn't even matter. They're so freaking awesome. I got the overworld map and the dark world map, even a map of Zora's Falls. And then all the things that were in that cryptic weird language from the Book of Medora. And then look at these. This shows you like where everything is. It's like, go here to find this thing. I was like, dude, that's so rad. For somebody like first playing this game or like playing a retro game, because who knows, man, the generations after, like, it makes like it's easy to me because I played it. I was there. You know, but somebody else picking this game up, they're like, well, modern games are kind of like this. What do I do in this game? And this would be like really cool to like actually show somebody like, hey, play this game and just kind of look at this map and you can find different stuff. Because that's what Zelda is all about, right? Finding stuff. And then here's something super random. I'm even like a little embarrassed that I bought this, but who cares? Somebody was selling their art. And I was like, dude, are they really? Like, that's, and not for not very much either. I was like, that seems kind of like a slap to the face, but if you're selling, then I'll pick it up. Pick that shit up. It's rad. So check this shit out. They did like a leprechaun kind of version of Ganon. I was like, what the fuck? You got like a leprechaun Ganondorf. Oh my god, ridiculous. And then same kind of thing. We got Wind Waker. Right? Wind Waker? Yeah, Wind Waker Ganondorf. Oh my god. So funny. This camera hasn't beeped for a second. I bet you it's not recording. Stupid camera. Whatever. Alright, here's some of the smaller artwork. This kind of looks like Mega Man, but I can't really tell. You tell me if that's Mega Man or not. He's got like crazy hair. Some kind of thing. I don't really know. This is like a elf head. Some of these are like, what is this? The fuck, what's his name? Tingle? He's like buff. You got buff ass Link. This art is ridiculous, dude. But I love it. Ganondorf? Yeah, Ganondorf. This buff ass Zelda. Yeah, freaking googly eyes Ganondorf. What the fuck? I love that it's like sketched on. It says "Crave the Save." It's like line paper. I'm like, dude, people are so creative and they just use like the sloppiest materials. So like, go get a blank sheet of paper, dude. What are you doing? Yeah, so a bunch of cool ass artwork. Because why not, right? Well, my behind the scenes episode kind of turned out into a better part than I thought. So that's cool. Kind of a mess here. I'm glad I fixed the camera before I did this. Freaking punk, man. Shit's always turning off. What am I on time? Almost an hour? Damn. I feel like I shouldn't even edit. That's going to be the difference, right? I don't edit it. Raw and uncensored. With all the sneezes and coughs. Dude, I have too much shit on the table. How do I do this? Oh, let's take a detour and look at these games. That motherfucking piece of shit. That means full storage. Fucking annoying. Alright, give me a second. I'm going to unload this card. I'm going to reorganize this table a bit so I can make a final shot of all my video game shit together. And then what am I going to do after that? I don't know. Break time. Untime out. God, even the way that I empty these boxes, I can't even get over there. Fuck. So disorganized. You gotta be disorganized to try to get organized. Alright, this thing. You fuck. Dude, why? Just support the camera, for fuck's sake. Okay. Alright, well, I was getting more battery. No, not more battery. Freaking dying me. While I was getting more storage space, I found that other random thing I mentioned earlier that I didn't grab. That's the Microland Zelda stuff. It's the ones that didn't come in the boxes. Just to add more stuff to the table. And there's all the little figures. They're all inside there. Oh my gosh. Hiccups. Okay, so now here's the fun part of like, now what do I do? I was thinking about it while I was getting more storage space on that flash drive thing. What I got to do now is I'll try to separate out by, because right now I just had like stuff I had from before, plus some stuff I've been kind of randomly getting, mostly a lot of Switch stuff, and put that all in one box. But what I need to do is put all the Zelda and stuff in one box and put all the other stuff in another box. I always like consolidating stuff. That's always fun to like, oh, put it all in the same box. But I think what's always also kind of fun is when you take stuff and then disaggregate, I guess, back into different boxes and different ways of sorting. So you're like, okay, here's my box. Because then when I actually do a Zelda part for this, because I think I do, I was thinking about it, I was like, is this going to count as the episode? And I'm like, I'm not satisfied with it. So I think I'm going to put this episode part like way in the end so it doesn't spoil anything. And I'll separate out stuff like here's my Zelda stuff, and then here's like my Final Fantasy, whatever stuff fits that category. Maybe Final Fantasy and maybe it's Zelda and then everything else. Maybe that's how I need to do it. And I'll just save a couple of these games, like the Spider-Man game, so I could do another Spider-Man part, and have the games show up and be like, all right, it's a P1 push start part because it has Spider-Man games. But here's a couple other action figures that I got recently, because I do have some, and I want to do an episode part on them, but I got to tie it into this video game episode that I started here. Shit. And I already started kind of generating the list of some games that I actually want to play that I don't have yet, so I can play those when I have to have surgery. I'm going to add probably the first video I took before this one after this video called Prelude, like I did with the other one. And you'll see what I mean when it pops up. That was in episode 10 in the beginning. So I'm going to do that again. And then maybe for the Zelda part, I can do something like this list that I'd saved for last to talk about, apparently. Because I don't even know if I need to talk about it, really, but it's a list of all the games, and it has some handwritten notes in here, because some of these games weren't out yet when I actually printed this list. But I pretty much, I check it off when I play it, and then I circle it when I own it. And there's still a couple games that I don't own, like Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, and I'm like, do I want to get the Game Boy Color version, or do I want to get a Game Boy Advance version? Do I care if it's a reproduction? Because, man, some of these games are just like going for way too much. I'm like, y'all are way too nostalgic. Can you like back the fuck off and let the people who actually play these games play these games? Like, you're just going to stick it on a shelf somewhere and never even play it. That sucks to me. If it's an action figure, that's one thing. Like, you buy the thing, put it on the shelf. That's what you're supposed to do, I guess. But a video game that doesn't get played, that just hurts my feelings, you know? So, like, let me buy Oracle of Seasons and Ages for a decent price, because I'd actually replay it. What else do I not have? I'll just say what I don't have. So then later I'll say what I do have. Minish Cap, that's a Game Boy Advance game, I guess. I played it through a emulation. I didn't really like it at some of the other titles, but it was okay, you know, still a Zelda game. I haven't played Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Those are the sequels to which one? The Wind Waker. I haven't played those. They have like different controls, and they look not good to me when I look on the gameplay online. So I don't know. I might play them. I might not. I don't know. Hyrule Warriors. It was actually same style as the Age of Calamity, and it came before that. But I didn't play it. It looks like a pretty long game. But if I can get my hands on a copy, I'll definitely check it out. Triforce Heroes. I think that's supposed to be a sequel to like Four Swords, but instead of 4. I had a fucking alarm on my phone. So I don't know how long I was talking and it wasn't recording. God, this shit is so fucking annoying. Can I just say for a second how fucking annoying recording is? Jesus fucking Christ. I'd rather just be like, yeah, super fun. I just sit here and talk about stuff. But you gotta worry about lights, you gotta worry about cameras. Shit always turns off. Someone's trying to call you. If you don't forget to put on Do Not Disturb. This shit is fucking annoying. Behind the scenes. You got itchy throats from allergies. I'll have to listen to the playback on this to see how fucking terrible it sounds. But what did I say? I mentioned Hyrule Warriors. That's the game like Age of Calamity. Haven't played it. But if I found a copy, I totally would. Triforce Heroes is supposed to be a sequel to Four Swords. But instead of 4, you play with the 3. If I could find that, I would totally play that too. But Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, the sequel to the Wind Waker. The play just looks weird, so I don't know. I would, for the sake of crossing off everything on this list, I would try, but they look not fun to me. So yeah, that's all the shit I got. So now I gotta like actually organize it. Oh my god, what a nightmare. In my head, the Zelda stuff, I'm like, I don't want to go in like sequential order. Oh, that's perfect for it to fall off, right? How about don't put those there? Mario games. Fucking Mario games. Zelda games. Some more PlayStation games. Did I even say these? I feel like I didn't. Interactive sampler disc CD. So there's a couple samples on there. I got Frogger, Cool Borders 3, Tomb Raider, which I've never played, but I got it for cheap, and I was like, maybe I'll go back and try it out. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, obviously. Shit's classic. But yeah, Cool Borders 3 was like a game I played like so much, and then Frogger was frustrating at first, but then I got better. Tomb Raider never played, and then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was just, I don't know, it's a super fun game. Play with my brothers, play with my friends. Guidebooks. Final Fantasy. I can just kind of like put everything at least somewhere. I can move on with what's going on here. That's going to be weird if I separate all this GameCube Zelda games from the rest of the GameCube games. Hurts my brain, kinda. I want all the GameCube stuff together, but I want all the Zelda stuff together. It must have been the dust before I put them in the box, I hope. Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 6. 7, 8, 9. 3DS stuff. That's that Tifa poster. I heard you, motherfucker. Game Boy. 3DS. Am I getting somewhere with this? I feel like I am. If I can move this PlayStation a little bit. I can Put that there. Sketchy. I don't know, man. That might be as good as it gets. Maybe this needs to overlap over here, because I know that's got a plastic protector on it too. So just leave it be, I guess. All right, this is not the best organized, but I'm planning on doing other episode parts, so maybe I'm not going to stress about it too much. This is just behind the scenes. I'm just trying to get organized, you know? So one episode part will be this way, one episode part will be that way. I've done this correctly. Oh, I didn't even show you what Game Boy games I have. So I only have 3. I feel like I have all these systems, and I'm like, I don't even have that many games. Are that many games worth playing? I hope so. But for me, I'm like, nostalgia and what I'm looking at, it's not really that. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the next system. What do you got, you know? But that's why I need to generate a list of games so I can actually play them. Because I know there's a shit ton of games out there that are fun. Like this Harry Potter game. Who knows? Maybe this will be fun. I don't know. That's Harry Potter and not even a specific thing. It just says Harry Potter, so I don't know. Link's Awakening. Classic as fuck. The game is super fun. The Switch game, I know it looks really good, but I don't know, for some reason it wasn't as fun as the Game Boy. And maybe that's just nostalgia talking, but just didn't feel quite the same. But still a good experience. I feel like I played through that Switch version like so fast, but maybe I'd do the same thing for the Game Boy one. I don't know. And then Pokemon Red, I still got to get a copy of Blue because I feel incomplete without having both. Maybe Pokemon Yellow. Pokemon Gold was super fun too, but then I would have to get Pokemon Silver. And you can see this stuff just goes down like a complete freaking rabbit hole. And I already talked about this before in the Kevin's Inception Pokemon stuff, but I got the Game Boy Color instead of a pocket, and I'm going to leave that out so it looks cool. Man, this display looks amazing to me. I'm gonna grab that camera and I'm gonna show all this stuff and do that close-up kind of video like I always do. And then I'm gonna box everything up in its appropriate box, and then I'll show the prelude, and then hopefully down the line you can see the new episode parts from after you see this behind the scenes stuff, I guess. Or actually, you know what? did I already say this? I'm going to put this part at the very end. So it doesn't spoil anything. So unfortunately, you'll see this after you've seen the finished product. And then you can come back and be like, how does that fool think? How's he do this stuff? Well, this is how I do it. I fuck around a little bit. I usually don't have a camera to talk to. I fuck around, look at my stuff. Try to figure out a way that I'm going to like talk about it and go through it. And I build up a display, which for these episodes, because I have this stuff already, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm like, should I just have everything out and then talk about it, or should I kind of take everything out like one at a time, like I do in the past episodes? I'm not sure. I gotta figure out what I want to do. But I'm leaning towards each item individually, so that way I can be like Zelda 1, Zelda 2, next one that comes out, next one that comes out. Something like that. Same thing with the Final Fantasy stuff. It's like first one that comes out, this one, this one, this one. And then they did remasters, and here they are. So that's what I'm thinking. So what else? Camera 1, camera 2. That's all I have for you today. So stay tuned for that prelude part, and I'll probably do like a hyperlapse for packing things up after I do that close-up shot. So with that, webs out, peace out. I hope that's where the camera was. That angle looks weird, but that's okay, whatever. I guess. Oh, I did even like camera. I didn't even do hyperlapse. Fuck. This microLAN stuff will go back into its Zelda box. It's actually sharing a box with the Power Ranger stuff, so it'll go up there. And then I put up a couple things up here. Crazy looking anime figures, Penny and Stocking, and then one of the microLAN boxes, which is freaking awesome. The Red Lion, Twilight Princess Link, and then that Clue game. One, because it's cool, and two, because it's a big ass box, so I don't really know where to put it. Alright, everything is in their bosses. Thinking about bosses in Zelda. So everything's in their boxes, except these Nintendo Switches, which I don't know where they were supposed to go. So I fucked up somewhere, but everything's in there. Tried to separate them out into their respective boxes, but I kind of just put everything else where I found it. Like I couldn't really, not that much room. So whatever. Loves out, peace out. Recording audio through USB mic. All right, this is the test before the test, just to make sure that this microphone is working, and how much louder I need to be, and how much louder it will sound when I'm recording stuff for Search for Mighty Max. Just got a haircut yesterday. Think I'm ready to fuck around with some shit today. So I'm gonna play this back, and then we'll do the actual pre-test. Welcome to Search for Mighty Max. This is the show where me and my brother search for, find, and talk about toys. For this episode, we're looking at video games instead. So I guess I should call this show P1 Push Start. That's probably how I'll actually start this episode, because I am just testing right now. But if this is an interesting clip, then I'll throw that shit at the end. Hopefully this microphone sounds good. And I am totally not going to be able to stand up in this shot, but you can see all the shit. Maybe I need a chair. This is all my video game shit all in one spot. I need to do a little bit of setup still, but really I'm just making sure that this microphone works and Trying to get over my nerves, I guess. I usually get nerves right before I start recording and doing an episode. So fuck it. I'll just do the setup on camera, whatever. I got one camera going. Now I just got to get another one going. I got Jurassic Park playing in the background. Solid movie. It's not really a movie about dinosaurs. It's about how much kids suck. I realized today. And how they'll almost get you killed 1,000 times because they're the worst. God damn it. This is the kind of shit, man, that it takes forever to set up. I forgot to put the actual storage in there. Trying to figure out how to do this. I'm trying to figure out how to do some video game episodes or episode parts. And I was like, maybe I should just do a part on making the episode parts. Because I don't really know what I'm trying to do yet. But I always spend time trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. It's like, I'll just make a part out of that, I guess. So if I have a camera on this side, I'll have to check it later, make sure it's actually in frame. Because on that side, I'll be talking to you, and you'll be seeing what I pull out of the boxes and stuff. But the actual display, the actual episode, I flip it around, and I'm like, I have to show everybody from this way. So it's always like backwards thinking, physically backwards thinking. Like, I'm pulling out the stuff, I'm looking at it, oh, that looks cool, and then I have to be on the other side of it when I do an episode part. Where I'm like, yeah, it looks cool from my perspective. Now I got to go on the other side so I can actually show you, and the audience has to be on the other side, which is fucking annoying. But that's just kind of how you have to do it. Okay, so lights. Fucking dumb. I turn on the lights. My alarm went off because it's noon and it's time for lunch. But I'm not actually at work today, obviously. And I knocked the light over, and this is all just part of the fun. I see why, like on YouTube and all these other places, I'm like, the way to do this is get a production crew. Like, I'm the talent. I shouldn't have to be dealing with none of this. I'm the face. I'm who's on camera. I got to do all this. All right, a little bit more out of the way. Sure, you'll hear me clear my throat 1,000 times. Because now I'm mic'd up and walking around the house. Do 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 do. Because I can get parched when I talk a bunch. Today's sparkling water is Beach Plum. So, sponsored by LaCroix, apparently. Blah. I forgot I gotta use this camera. So this is the camera that fucking turns off and stops every 20 minutes. Freaking drives me nuts. Someday, have some money and buy something decent. Alright, everything's in frame there. So yeah, I said I'm not at work today. It's a Friday. I had to like retrace my steps and look back at the previous episodes. I'm like, I swear I talked about my back problems at some point. When was that? So at the beginning of episode 10, Kevin's Inception, at the very end of the first episode, I added a clip where I was talking about my back. And that shit is still going on and it sucks. I ended up I had to get an appointment and I got the epidural shot of some steroids, and that seemed to help take care of the pain for like a week or two. Then started coming back again, and I was already scheduled for a second one. They have to do like below the pain and above the pain or something like that. And I was telling them about the problems and how I still had some pain. So they injected that shit right into my surgery hole, or when I had the microdiscectomy like 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago? Feels like a long time. I feel like it's been 2019. It's 2024 now. 5 years ago. So I'm trying to avoid having a surgery again, but I talked to my primary yesterday and she's like, you're probably going to have to do it again. This is not like a long-term fix. You're just kind of getting rid of the pain. But then you're going to have to, take care of it permanently at some time, or just deal with the pain. Just always do pain management, which is like these shots and different things. But these first 2 shots were scheduled a few weeks apart. But in the future, I can't really like schedule things that quickly. I have to wait a little bit longer. There's like a limit to how many I can get every year. So fuck, I'm in a bad spot. I'm probably going to have surgery again. And I already knew this at the beginning of episode 10. I was like, man. So I started thinking already at that time, like, I'm going to be like in bed for 6 to 8 weeks or maybe longer or whatever the fuck it is. And last time I had that surgery, I was super bored. So I was like, man, I need to like start stocking up on some games, right? So that's kind of where episode 12 came from. I was like, dude, I need to stock up on some games because I could be stuck in bed and stuck at home and I'm be super bored. So I need to start looking at some games that I can play. So that first episode was just kind of like, let's reorganize my shelf back here. Let's get that all in order. And then let's start going into some video games, So I got all my shit out here and I'm ready to go through it. But I think I'm going to add this clip to the end. Like I said before, I'm just trying to get these like jitters out and get my shit set up and ready to go. And explain my medical situation, which is not good. But I mean, that's the inspiration for kind of heading this direction. I also saw my brother Kevin. He was doing a Pokemon card tangent, so he was doing something that he likes doing, and kind of doing more of it on. He was doing some streaming, some separate streaming. So, bro, I hope I don't remember if you mentioned that in your episodes. Like, hey, like I did this on these episodes to kind of show you some stuff, but I have some streaming over here where I open some more packs and do some different Pokemon stuff. So I'm just doing a plug right now. Right there. So that's Bug Catching Kanto Kevin. Bug Catching Kanto Kevin. So that's his Twitch stream. And he's got some cards on there. I hope it keeps it up and keeps doing it as a channel, because I think it's a good thing. People want to see it. That's a good hobby that's going on right now. So got the cards going, and I was like, man, I want to do like a spin-off channel. What the hell? So Zelda is like a super big franchise that I am into. I've played like almost all the games. hopefully by the end of my life, I can say that I played all of them. But we'll see, right? Because maybe they'll come out with some more. Some of them are a little bit harder to find, so I got to do like emulation. Some of them I'm not really interested in playing, if I'm being completely honest. But I have a checklist in one of these boxes, so I can definitely talk about that later. So here's hoping that I don't have to have surgery. But if I do, then here's hoping I have some decent games to play. And I'm going to start trying to make like a checklist for myself to get some more. And then maybe I'll do like another episode later or something. But this is my test. So the microphone, try to get set up here. So webs out, peace out, I guess, for this mini part. And let's actually start the fucking episode, right?